Good evening. We're back with more Lord of the Rings LCG, and tonight is Journey Along the Anduin on Nightmare difficulty. This is a re-record. As in the original, I didn't increase threat by enough in the opening round, and that would have affected the game because I would have engaged the Hill Troll a turn earlier. So I am re-recording. This time we will start with the proper threat. Though I'm using a different deck entirely, so the whole game will be different. Get a brown water rat, one of the most annoying cards ever designed, but not particularly threatening. And then we got to go find the Hill Troll. Starting at 26 threat, so not close to needing to engage. Ally Faramir is 8 threat, Hirluin's 8, and Erestor is 10. Do get Steward of Gondor. A lot of the difficulty of this quest is in that opening wall dealing with the Hill Troll early and whatever else comes out of the encounter deck. So with Outlands, it's important to get combat cards early. We've got a Warrior of Lossarnach that's going to get discarded. And I choose an Envoy of Pelargir over a Anfalas Herdsman because I wanted to play that second very good tail. I would never do that otherwise. And now is a choice between another Ethir Swordsman or a Warrior of Lossarnach. The Ethir Swordsman would definitely be more useful later. Warrior of Lossarnach's more immediately useful. You could make a pretty compelling case for either one of those. So we're just going to quest for a little here. Don't need a lot, don't need to advance right away. Just questing for enough not to gain threat. It's another rats. So we got 2. And just going to take these attacks undefended. Shadow cards do nothing. Of course, they can't be damaged. So we're on to the next round. And there's a second Warrior of Lossarnach, Hunter of Lamedon. And we've got some combat power now. I don't know if we got enough to kill the Hill Troll this round. Could use another Knight of the Swan. But I'm not forced to kill the Hill Troll this round. And it's going to be an Anduin Troll Spawn. Doesn't gain Surge because there is a Hill Troll in play. But it is going to be an actual threat. But I do have 2 Warriors of Lossarnach, so I've got some defense. Attacking enemy can't be damaged this round. That's a bummer. I was planning on damaging it this round. So raise threat by the amount of damage dealt, which is not going to be any. And the rats do nothing. So that costs a turn. And now I'm thinking about using Forlong and Ethir Swordsman, which does mean discarding the third Anfalas Herdsman. There's going to be 2 of them in the discard pile now. I don't anticipate needing a lot of extra HP for my guys. This is why I did this. You got that one card with the eyeball on it that does 1 damage to all exhausted allies. But apart from that, I don't think there's a lot of threats to the allies. I forget if this deck has Hummer Horns or not, this encounter deck. So we quest precisely enough that I don't have to move on to phase 2 yet. Do have to return an exhausted ally to my hand. That will be the Errand-rider. It's going to get discarded at the end of the round, unfortunately. Rip Errand-rider. And the attack itself is going to do 1 damage to Forlong. Now I'm counting up my attack power to make sure that if I take these attacks with actual characters from the rats, that I'll still have enough attack power to kill the troll spawn this round, and I realize that I will. And once again, I either have to raise threat by 3 or no, I don't have a choice if I do have an exhausted ally, which I do. It has to come back to my hand, and so it's going to get discarded. So we're attacking here for 8. And we're on to the next round. Here I can use Men of the West to get back the Anfalas Herdsman, potentially a Warrior of Lossarnach. There's actually a lot of Outlands allies in the discard pile. Warrior of Lossarnach is going to be high priority. And as well as Ethir Swordsman, that's actually a bigger priority than Anfalas Herdsman. So I'm going to grab that and make use of a good harvest to get both of them out. So with a full board of Ethir Swordsman, questing is not going to be a problem when I do move on. Forgot to raise threat at the end of last round for Gladden Field, so I do that there. And now we're just going to quest for enough to clear the location, but I do make also enough to move on to phase 2. I didn't necessarily want to do that, but it happened. I didn't really count very precisely. I probably could have avoided that. But I don't know. It would have been very hard to clear Gladden Fields, but not clear the quest. I probably could have done it, though. I can only engage one enemy here, and the others can't be optionally engaged, so they just have to sit here, and I'm going to deal with the Hill Troll. And his extra damage is going to be assigned as threat. And then we have attacks from the rats. Each enemy is now going to get +1. Now I'm counting up my attack power to see that I've got 12. And I can take the rat attack with one of the characters instead of taking it undefended. It is going to be for 2 damage, now 3 damage, but still doesn't get through Hirluin's shields. Now I just need 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We'll take out the Hill Troll. Now I think the Anduin Anduin Troll spawn should have engaged there because his text is a forced effect, not an encounter check. And if he had engaged there, I likely would have well, I did have a character available to take his attack. But it likely would have meant taking an undefended attack from the rats onto Faramir for 2 damage, the first one. Maybe if I'd taken the second one undefended, it would have had to go on Hirluin for 3 damage. But it wouldn't have killed him because I have an Anfalas Herdsman buffing his HP. So, potentially there should be 3 extra wounds on Hirluin, or possibly 2 on Faramir. And the troll spawn should be engaged with me currently because I did not realize his text, which is a forced effect and not an encounter check. So this is going to be the turn that he gets engaged because I'll be moving on to phase 3 here. And neither of the encounter cards are going to be enemies, so that's good. That makes things easier. And I have to reveal 2 more here. And just 1 enemy, so that went pretty well. 1 damage to each exhausted character. Potentially that could have killed Faramir if I had taken an undefended attack for 2 and it went on Faramir. But he's not essential at this point. In fact, he's not really needed at all at this point. So all the enemies are going to engage now. Troll Spawn should have been engaged already, but he wasn't. And the Beastmaster does 0 damage. The Troll Spawn's gonna go on a cannon fodder guy. Crows could also be undefended, but why risk it, right? Now there's a +1 attack. Good thing that didn't go on the Beastmaster. It's rare that I use the Anfalas Herdsman this way. So now I can put a little damage back on the characters in the staging area. Not going to kill anyone significant, but it doesn't matter. At this point, I'm not going to get any new enemies. So it's just a matter of mopping up, as long as you don't get overwhelmed with enemies in phase 2 and 3. And nobody knew. I could play very good tail, but I don't really need to. So I decide I'm not going to risk exhausting 2 of my guys and not really getting anything in return for them. I would do it early in the game. Just going to quest for 3 here, which is enough to prevent threat. We skip the staging steps, so no new cards come out. Not going to be making any progress on the location, but I don't need to, and then I just need to resolve these 2 attacks and fight back. So that's going to be +2 threat. There's a good chance that should have killed Hirluin, but at this point that doesn't matter. It is entirely possible that both Hirluin and Faramir could be dead here. Well, actually no, it would be one or the other. Either Hirluin or Faramir, but that wouldn't affect the outcome, as the game's going to be over this turn. And we do get a Wolf-rider. So, my turn. I need to put 8 damage. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Should be possible. It's 2, 4, 6. Never did find another Knight of the Swan. 8 dispatches the Troll Spawn. When the rats are all that's left, they just die on phase 3. That's going to be 1, 2, 3 attack to take out the Beastmaster. And then my last remaining guy will attack for 2, and that will dispatch the Wolf-rider, and the brown rats die, as the only remaining enemies have the rat trait, and that will end the game. So, we got lucky there in that 3 of the 4 cards from Phase 2 and the Phase 3 reveal were not enemies. That made this much easier. I'm not certain how it would have gone if we'd gotten another Hill Troll there, or 4 out of 4 enemies or something, but that didn't happen, so, yeah. Yay for good luck. Thanks for watching.